Very good morning to all. This video is about specific heat capacity and the experimental determination of specific heat capacity of a liquid and a solid. Let us see one by one. And first of all, we must know what is meant by specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of a substance by 1 Kelvin. So it is nothing but specific heat capacity is nothing but the total amount of heat required to increase or to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of a substance by 1 Kelvin temperature. So we are considering a substance 1 kilogram of a substance and we are raising the temperature by 1 Kelvin, and for that we need some amount of heat. Some amount of heat is required for 1 kilogram of a substance to increase its temperature by 1 Kelvin. That amount of heat, so that is the definition, amount of heat required to increase the temperature of 1 kilogram of a substance by 1 Kelvin. This is the definition of specific heat capacity. The SI unit of specific heat capacity is joule per kilogram per Kelvin. Joule per kilogram per Kelvin is the SI unit of specific heat capacity. Now we must know the equation, basic equation for specific heat capacity. The equation is E is equal to mc theta. E is equal to mc theta is the basic equation of specific heat capacity. And where we must define each and every term. So the E, first E term, E is the energy transferred in joule. So energy is defined in joule. So E is the energy transferred. Second one, M, mass of the substance in a kilogram. C is the specific heat capacity of the substance in joule per kilogram per Kelvin. So C is the specific heat capacity. This is the main. C is the specific heat capacity of a substance. And theta, this theta is the temperature change. That how much you are increasing the temperature. So that is called temperature change. The temperature change in degrees or in Kelvin. So this is the definition of specific heat capacity, units and formula of specific heat capacity. Next, let us see the principle of calorimetry or the principle of mixes. So according to this principle, so we consider two bodies at different temperatures. See here we consider when two bodies of different temperatures, the two bodies are which may be a solid or a liquid, they are placed in a physical contact with each other. So two bodies are in contact with each other. Then what happens is you assume that two bodies at different temperatures. So body A and B, A is at higher temperature B is at lower temperature. Then if you combine these two, and we notice that the heat transfer, there is a transfer of heat take place from a body of higher temperature to a body of lower temperature until a common temperature is reached. So again, so when two bodies of different temperatures are placed in contact, then what happens is the heat is transferred from the body with a higher temperature to the body with a lower temperature until thermal equilibrium is attained between them. So a common temperature will be attained. And here the hot body loses its temperature while the cold body gains the temperature. So one body losing the temperature, another body gaining the temperature. So now we are going to compare this. This is the law, we are going to define it. Now what is the law is, the body at the higher temperature releases heat while the body at lower temperature absorbs the heat. This is the principle of calorimetry or principle of mixtures. So the body at a higher temperature loses the heat or releases the heat. At the same time, the body at the low temperature absorbs the heat or gains the heat. And this is the principle of calorimetry or the principle of mixtures. And in short, we can say the heat lost by the hot body is equal to the heat gained by the cold body. We can say in short, heat lost is equal to heat gain. This is the basic principle of calorimetry. Now, so with this principle, so we are going to determine experimentally the specific heat of a liquid and solids. And first we will see the experimental method to determine the specific heat of a liquid. So in this method here, a solid of known specific heat capacity is taken in the form of bits and put inside the inner tube of a steam heater. It is given in the figure. So look at the figure here. So this is the steam heater. The diagram shows that the schematic diagram of a steam heater. In the steam heater, look at here. Here is the inner tube. This is the inner tube. The inner tube is fitted with a one-hole rubber cork, and there is a thermometer is inserted. So into the inner tube. And the inner tube, the lower end of the inner tube is tapped, and there is a small opening. Look at here at the bottom, there is an opening. And in the tube, and the solids of known specific capacity. So you take a solid of known specific capacity, and it is in the form of bits, means small pieces. Small pieces of solids are taken inside the tube of the single steam heater. So here it is the steam heater. Now here, look at here, it is surrounded by another, is a water. It is surrounded by water, outer tube. So inner tube and outer tube. The outer tube is surrounded by water. So this is the experimental setup of the specific heat determination method. And the water is heated to boiling. You are heating the water. This water is heated to high temperature. Now the water begins to boil at a higher temperature. Now, so when the water boils, and here there is a flow of steam. The steam flows through the inner tube. Now the temperature of the liquid or temperature of the water and the thermometer rises. So you can look at here. Here is a water. The thermometer is inside that. Now outside water, inside solids. Due to this heating, the temperature of the water increases. At the same time, the temperature of the solid also increases. Because this solid, the temperature of the solid also increases. Now note down, the solid is heated to the steady temperature of steam T2 degrees Celsius. So look at, note down the temperature of the solid. It is taken as T2 degrees Celsius. T2 is the temperature of the solids. Now separately, a clean dry calorimeter is weighed with a stirrer. So you take a calorimeter, clean calorimeter. That's what the previous diagram we have seen that. So this is a calorimeter with the stirrer. And there is a thermometer to record the temperature of the given liquid. So this is the calorimeter. A calorimeter is fitted with a thermometer and a stirrer. So it is filled with the given liquid. 50% of the calorimeter is filled with the given experimental liquid. So you have taken such a calorimeter, MD calorimeter, a dry calorimeter. First of all, MD dry calorimeter we have to take it. And you have to take the weight, that's what given, weight. A clean dry calorimeter is weight. So you take the weight of the calorimeter with the stirrer, let it be M1. So M1 is the, we can say M1 is the mass of the MD calorimeter with the stirrer. So, and then now only it is half filled with the given liquid whose specific heat capacity is to be determined. Now you fill the calorimeter, that is half filled, means 50% of the calorimeter is filled with the experimental liquid, given liquid, whose specific heat capacity that we are going to determine. Now after filling the liquid, and again you measure the mass of the calorimeter with given liquid, let it be M2. So M1 is the mass of the calorimeter with the stirrer. M2 is the mass of the calorimeter stirrer plus the given liquid. Now it is placed inside the wooden box. Yes, this setup is placed in the wooden box to avoid any heat loss. Now initial temperature of the liquid in the calorimeter is noted as T1. So we have to note down the temperature, initial temperature. This setup. So here the thermometer, using the thermometer, and measure the initial temperature of the given liquid, let it be T1. Now we have two temperatures. One is T1, it is the initial temperature of the given liquid. Now T2, it is the temperature of the solid after heating. Now T1 is the region of low temperature, T2 is at a high temperature. So these two are a different setup, different temperatures. And now what happens? We are going to mixing these two. How? Is the calorimeter is brought under the delivery tube of the steam heater. So this is the delivery tube which is tapped at the bottom. So here the right side bottom you just bring the calorimeter. The calorimeter is brought under delivery tube of the steam heater, this side, right side. The solid is quickly dropped into the calorimeter. The solids, so you drop the solid. How you drop is, you raise the tube, inside the tube little bit. Just raise the tube. And then the solid tries to fall. And the solid is quickly dropped into the calorimeter by lifting this inner tube. Now the content of the calorimeter is stirred well. So you mix the contents. And the content you stir, that means using stirrer, you mix well, and now you can notice that the hot body, the solid loses the temperature, at the same time the liquid gains the temperature. So a common temperature is reached there. And now that temperature, maximum temperature of the mixture, so mixing, after mixing, now you note down the temperature, let it be T3. So T3 is the temperature of the mixture now. So once again T1 is the initial temperature of the liquid. T2 is the temperature of the hot solids. Now when we mix these two, it attains a common temperature. Let it be T3. So now you have to do some calculation, just a calculation, and the method is, again we have to define it. Same principle. Heat is gained by the calorimeter and liquid, and the heat is lost by the hot solids. So again here, who is gaining is the liquid. The calorimeter with the liquid gains the heat, and the solid, hot solid, loses the heat. So this is happening here. And now we are considering the specific heat capacity of the given liquid. Let it be X, and the C1 be the specific heat capacity of the material of the calorimeter. The calorimeter, specific heat of the calorimeter, that is taken as C1, and the specific heat capacity of the given solid, there is known value which is taken as C. So these are the specific heat capacities, three specific heat capacities. Now already we measured the mass of the calorimeter with the stirrer, the M1, we already measured M1 kilogram, mass of the calorimeter, stirrer and liquids, that is 50% of liquid, that is measured as M2. Now if you subtract these two, that is M2 minus M1 will give the mass of the liquid. So mass of the liquid can be obtained by subtracting these two. That is M2 minus M1 kilogram is the mass of the liquid. Now already we measured initial temperature of the liquid, that is T1, temperature of the hot solid T2, and final, the correct that is temperature of the mixture is taken as T3 degrees Celsius. So we already defined three temperatures. Now mass of the calorimeter plus liquid plus solids, that is after mixing. So now the calorimeter contains liquid and solids, and mass is taken as M3. Now heat gained by the calorimeter, heat, already formula we have seen, MC theta, MC into temperature, here it is taken as T. So mass, the heat gained by a calorimeter is equal to, that is M1 is the mass of the calorimeter, C1 is the specific heat of the calorimeter, and T3 is the temperature of the mixture, and T1 is the temperature of the given liquid. So now the heat gained by the calorimeter, the formula we are using mc theta. So m, that is here m1 into C1 into, that is the temperature difference is T3 minus T1. So this is the heat gained by only calorimeter. Now heat gained by the liquid, given liquid is equal to again m2, that is m2 minus m1. What is m2? M2 is the mass of the calorimeter and the liquid. And what is m1? Mass of the calorimeter. So we are subtracting these two. This is the mass of the liquid. So m2 minus m1 into x is the specific heat capacity of the given liquid. Now this temperature is the difference between the mixture temperature and the initial temperature. So m2 minus m1 into x into T3 minus T1. This is the heat gained by the given liquid. Now total heat, we have to sum up these two, adding these two terms. By adding we are getting m1 C1 plus m2 minus m1 into x into common term. This is the common term T3 minus T1, T3 minus T1. So the common term, let it be taken outside. So T3 minus T1 is taken outside. The remaining terms are here m1 C1. So writing m1 C1 plus the second term m2 minus m1 into x, close the brackets, and then we are writing T3 minus T1. So this is the total heat gained we are getting. Now total heat lost by the solid, we must write total heat lost by the solid is equal to the mass of the solid is m3 minus m2 is the mass of the solid into C, specific heat capacity of the solid, into T2. T2 is the temperature of the solid, and T3 is the temperature of the mixture. T2 is the higher temperature. So T2 minus T3. So hence heat lost by the solid is equal to m3 minus m2 into C into T2 minus T3. Now according to the principle of mixes, the heat lost or heat gained is equal to heat lost by the hot solid. So heat gained by the calorimeter and liquid equal to heat lost by the hot solids. Now we are equating these two equations. That is the previous equations we are equating, that is heat gained, this is the equation, and heat lost is the second equation. So we are substituting, that is m1 C1 into T3 minus T1 plus m2 minus m1 into x into T3 minus T1, which is equal to m3 minus m2 into C into T2 minus T3. So we compare these two equations. Now from here x, our aim is to find out the specific heat capacity of the given liquid, which is taken as x. So x is equal to, here x I am writing, other terms I am taking in the right side. So right side I am taking. So right side, if we go, this term m3 minus m2, let it be there, C into T2 minus T3. So you write like that, m3 minus m2, C into T2 minus T3. The minus m1 C1 into T3 minus T, this term will go at the right side, it will become minus. So writing minus, this plus term becomes a minus at the right side. So m1 C1 into T3 minus T1. And now this term m2 minus m1 into T3 minus T1, it will come at the denominator. So m2 minus m1 into T3 minus T1. So this is the expression for specific heat of the given liquid, which is X is equal to M3 minus M2 into C, T2 minus T3 minus M1 into C1, T3 minus T1 divided by M2 minus M1 into T3 minus T1. And thus, using this formula, one can determine the specific heat of the given liquid. Next one, how to find out the specific heat of a solid. The same method. So only difference, look at here, only formula, we are just changing the formula. That's all. Same thing, same heater we are using, and the same calorimeter also we are using. The procedure is, the solid whose specific heat capacity is determined is taken and heated in the steam heater here, the same solid. So whatever be the solid, this solid is taken in the form of small bits and is taken in the inner tube of the heater. Now a given liquid or water of known specific heat capacity is taken in the calorimeter. So water is taken in the calorimeter. Here it is water now, 50% is filled with water. The experiment is done just as in the case of determination of specific heat of a given liquid. So the same method, what we have done in the previous one, same method we are following. Same method we are following. The difference is, and here we are using water and the solid. This solid we are going to determine the specific heat capacities. This is taken in the heater. Now same procedure, this is heated to high temperature. Now the solid is transferred here and it is mixed with the water. And now you have to find out heat lost by the solid equal to heat gained by the given liquid. And the same formula, from the formula we get the answer C is equal to M1 C1 plus M2 minus M1 into X into T3 minus T1 divided by M3 minus M2 into T2 minus T3. So using this formula we can find out the specific heat of the given solids. So with this we have seen from the beginning we have seen that is the definition of specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity is defined as amount of heat required to increase or to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of a substance by 1 Kelvin. Its unit is joule per kilogram per Kelvin. The formula is that is E is equal to mc theta or mct. Now we have seen that the principle of calorimetry, according to this principle, the total heat lost by the hot body is equal to total heat gained by the cold body. So using this principle we have determined the specific heat capacity of the given liquid, and this is a formula, and same procedure is applied to the solid, and thereby we determine the specific heat capacity of the given solids. Thank you, dear ones.